Hey Linux fans, Rob here, and welcome to Linux Quest. Thanks for watching. So today I want to talk about a widget, a screen widget, system monitor widget, and that is called Conky, C-O-N-K-Y. So I've had a few requests about, hey, what's that widget? How'd you get that clock? Or how'd you set the transparency? And so I thought it would be a good idea to step through the settings of Conky and just talk about some of the other options that are available within Conky as far as themes. And then later on we'll get into how you would install this. And so let's begin with stepping in and just kind of going through how you would set up the widget once it's installed. So this is the theme that I like, and this is called Gotham, and I use this from install to install different distributions, and I find it to be very stable. It's not a big system resource hog or anything of that nature, and it's virtually been trouble free. So I kind of stick with it based on that. To install Conky, before we begin getting into the settings, if you're on a Ubuntu based distro such as Mint or Ubuntu Mate, you could try to search for Conky, C-O-N-K-Y, in the Synaptic software manager if you have that installed. I'm not 100% sure that it's there, but I would try there first. Or you could install in the terminal, and I'll put this information here in the video notes. If you're on an Arch-based distro such as Manjaro or Apricity, I'm 99.9% sure that that is in the Arch user repository. So if you would go into your software manager and you go into control settings, you could turn on AUR, and I would also turn on search for AUR, and then just do a search for Conky and you'll find it there. What you're going to want to look for there is Conky All, and that will have all of your themes, or the themes that I'm about to illustrate today will be built in if you choose Conky All. You could also install that from terminal inside of your Arch-based distro. So I'll put these notes in the video link. Alright, so once it's installed, you're going to launch conky-manager, and that's the front end for the Conky software. Now by default, or excuse me, what I have selected, not default, but what I have selected is called Gotham. And by default it is transparent, so if you were to choose this particular widget, you're going to see it as you see it here on the screen. But now you do have other options, and so that's what we want to step through. But before I do that, I'll step through a few other widgets here. So you have this kind of old school clock, and perhaps that'll work with your desktop the way you have it set up. Maybe that's a look that works for you. You have system mod here, or CMod, and so you're able to see a lot of memory and various CPU system info here. The Green Apple Desktop Gotham is the same, except for it's used with this particular theme, which was also pre-installed. Now this theme puts a new wallpaper on your desktop as well. It's a Green Apple wallpaper. So if you're into green apples, that's for you. System mod, we've chosen that. And you also have CPU panel. So if you had, for example, here a 4-core system, you would be able to keep an eye on all 4 cores. And that goes up to 8 cores. Now this one I think is pretty handy. So if you have an NVIDIA card, maybe you're a gamer, and you've gone in, let's say, and you've overclocked your video card or tweaked your video card with, let's just say non-factory settings, then perhaps you need to keep an eye on your GPU temperatures or your fan speed or your GPU clock. So that's a nice widget if that is the case. And you also have network panel and process panel. Now I'm going to go back to the Gotham theme that I use. I'll check that, and I'll uncheck the other one. So once you've highlighted the theme or widget that you're using, I keep saying theme. If you highlight the widget that you're going to use, you then can go up to settings panel here, and you have tabs. So a tab for location, size, transparency, time, and network. We're going to focus on location, size, and transparency. Alright, so the location is not your physical location. You're not putting in GPS info or anything like that. You're simply choosing where you would like that particular widget to show up on your desktop. So right now it's bottom right, and I'm going to change that to top right. And we'll go ahead and click apply. We'll minimize this window, and now you'll see that's moved to the top right. Now once you've gotten your basic location, you may decide that you want to slide it some to the right or move it closer to the top, and you can do that with horizontal gap and vertical gap. Now what you'll find is this is kind of trial and error, so we're going to bump that down. I believe default on this once you launch into it is like 10 or maybe -10, so we're going to change both of these to 10 and click apply. And now we'll take a look. So you can see that has shifted up and over. So like I said, that's trial and error, but that's where you would go to adjust and position that widget just where you need it on your screen. The next option that we're going to look at is size. Now I do not have a need to change the size of this particular widget. It works well for for what I'm using it for. But if you did, you'd go in, and default is 0. You'd go in and increase that. But I would caution you here is that your issue could be you get one part too large, or one side too large. I can't talk here. And when you do that, kind of your fonts get out of whack, things get out of whack. But also you don't want to go too large for your entire desktop, and then you've expanded it to a point where you can't see everything. So just kind of be aware of that. The other adjustment here is padding. Now currently we're set to 4. You don't want to bump that down too low. If you do, you're going to wind up losing some of your widget, and I'll show you that. See here? So we've lost some of the widget, so we're going to take that back to 4. You could bump that up to 5, and that would adjust some to where it sits in relation to the edge of your screen. Alright, so we'll click apply there. And then the other question that I normally get is transparency. Hey, how did you set the transparency on that? Well, this particular widget, Gotham, is transparent by default, but let's say in this case we wanted to go back to a solid background. We could choose opaque, and then we'll go in and we'll choose green here, for example, and click apply. And now you see, oh, holy cow, now you see this bright green. That would be good if we had the green Apple desktop. So you see this bright green background. And so that's something you can mess around with. There's pseudo-transparent, semi-transparent, and then transparent. The default for that particular widget was pseudo-transparent, so we're going to stick with that. But feel free to go in and mess around with that. I don't think you're going to break anything or hurt anything as far as the widget or the widget system is concerned. So we'll go ahead and close that out. Alright, so let's see if that's the look we want. So that is. And you can make these adjustments with any of these particular widgets, as far as position on the screen and everything we just stepped through. Now there's another setting that you're going to want to check out once you have your location and everything set up on your widget, and that setting is application settings on the right. Now by default, what you'll see, you've got 2 tabs, general and locations. We're just going to focus on general here. Location is simply if you had themes installed, where they would be, so we'll focus on general. So your first option here is run Conky at system startup. By default, that was turned off. So if you like what you have set up and you want that to appear every time you log in or boot in, go ahead and turn that on. And then you can set a startup delay, and in this case I've set for 10 seconds. That allows the system to kind of load, and then gives some time there for things to do what they need to do, and then Conky will then turn on. So I think that's a nice feature to have there, because it gives you a little more control over what's loading on your system once it starts up. Alright, so we'll move on from there. We've got this all set the way we like it, and so now we're going to close out, and I want to talk some about themes. So we're going to pop over here to a couple of websites, and there are lots of themes available for the Conky widget. And I'm going to go here to linux.com, and I'll put the link here to this page as well. And I want to give credit to Jack Wallen for this one. And so he's got a Conky widget here that is all text, and I thought that was kind of modern and clean looking. And he goes on to provide installation instructions and everything here. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through the process. Some of these themes can be a little complicated to go in and install. And then you'll also find, let's see here, you'll find that a lot of the themes from DeviantArt, so if you go to deviantart.com and search for Conky theme, you'll find lots of really nice work from some talented artists there. And a lot of these are hosted on the GitHub website. And so this one I thought was nice, which is Conky Vision. So let's search for that. And I thought this was just a nice, clean, attractive look as well. Kind of reminds me of what you would see, you know, on an Android tablet widget or something of that nature. But if you have, you can see here, if you have a here we have a slate matte background and Conky running over here, and to me that just adds a nice, clean look. So it's you know, and this is all user choice. It's to your taste and to your preference. But I just wanted to illustrate here there are some very nice themes. People have done some very nice work with Conky as far as the theming and everything is concerned. So I will paste again the links to this so you can kind of dig in and look at themes yourself. And you know, this is something that's fun, and this is a part of Linux to me that it's once you've got your system set up and things running the way you want, it's nice to go in and give your desktop a unique look. It's you know, it's always fun to kind of tweak things out like that. So I would certainly recommend it. I've had zero issues with it starting up, or there's been no crashes with Conky. It just seems to be very stable, and it does what it's supposed to do. So we like to see that for sure. So hope this helps, and stay tuned for more videos, and I appreciate you watching. Take care.